We're here. Oh, perfect timing. I don't know if you hear them, but my dogs just started barking. But we made it. We are here on a brand new spot. This is not the brand new, like, move. We're not there yet. But I have taken down the wall. And so this is going to be the temporary setup every moon day from now on until we are in our next place. So, welcome. Good evening. How are you doing? I'm so excited that you're here. My name is Graciela Moore. I am an ICF, that's International Coaching Federation, certified personal coach. I love astrology. I love the moon. And this is live. So, and one of the reasons why I started talking about the moon, I would say 2022, is because the moon represents our emotional well-being, our emotional self, as opposed to who we show up as, how we present ourselves into the world. And so as a coach and as a mom, and really all my life, because that's just, if you're watching and you agree maybe that it's a personality thing to care about other people's emotional well-being. My moon is in Cancer, so that's definitely a reason why. If we are all emotionally safe and okay, then I feel like no matter what's happening, we'll figure it out. We'll make it through. We'll be okay. And it's that safety of the within, being safe within with oneself or where one is in life and in the journey. And so emotional wellness is just, I thought of imperative, I thought of important, and it's like all of those, of course, same root words, so they go together, but just in general, key to our further development. And I was gonna light an incense, and now I realize I don't have the lighter, so let's not do that. Okay, so in this show, I like to talk about the astrology of the week, but mainly where the moon is every day and how that may affect us emotionally or the people around us. Now, of course, the moon in the zodiac sign that is today, which is Leo, is not the same as your natal moon, which is what zodiac sign the moon was at the date of birth and your time of birth. That's your natal moon. And so my natal moon is the Cancer moon, and your natal moon may be, I don't know, a Pisces moon, but the moon today is in Leo. And it switches, or it travels, or it changes, or it flows through from zodiac sign to zodiac sign through the whole 12 zodiac signs within the moon cycle of 1 month. And I'm explaining all of this because I love to review, and this is the time of year where we start doing these reviews. July and August is the time of year where most of us start checking in with each other a little bit deeper than we have in previous months, because we have decided to divide the chunk of things that we're doing into two. And so here goes the second part of, what we've been trying to do, that second chunk. And in this live every moon day at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we follow Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace 2024 manifestation agenda / journal. You can find this on Amazon. I wrote this myself. This is not AI generated. This is the second installment in the Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace series. And I'm already working on next year's because now that some things are packed away, I have less things to play with and to procrastinate with. And so I guess more time to work on the book, which is great. So here we go. And in this book, you get 3 different things. Well, actually, you get more than that. So let's not. You get every moon. What are the manifestations? Every month. What are the manifestations that you're thinking about bringing to life for the month? What would you like to really accomplish this month? Is it a specific number of clients? Is it to ace a test that you really have to prepare and strategize for? Is it a sale? Is it a quota? Is it travel? Is it, job applications? What? And so every month you get to, right, manifest or think about those manifestations. And then every moon day, which is every Monday, yay, here we are. Every moon day, you have a chance to journal and write down what are the things that you're doing, what are you grateful for, what are you creating this week, what are you going to make sure to do if everything else is forgotten, if you just don't know what else you're going to do this week. You know that you have to do this one thing, so what is that? And it's only moon day, and I like to strategize about the week on moon day. So yay, welcome. If you're here live, who are you and where are you watching from? Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. And so we're about to discuss the whole week ahead. There's a lot happening astrologically because there always is. And this is one of those weeks that feels like a breeze as opposed to other weeks where the astrology is more dramatic. Mercury is in Cancer and it's, or did it switch to Leo? See, now I'm confusing myself, but Venus is going to Leo, so Mercury is already there. And so things are just flowing, and the sun is in Cancer, and after Cancer, we're going to have that Leo season. And this is the time where a lot of emotional loose ends start making sense because the sun is shedding light on our emotional self, which is Cancer. Cancer is the home, and the home is our body. Our body homes our soul, our emotions, our heart, right? All of our raw self. Think of the crab and how inside it's mushy, at least when it's alive. Let's not talk about the crab, right? Otherwise. But same thing with the turtle. Like when a turtle is alive, the inside of the shell, is it mushy, right? The turtle is another animal symbol for the moon in the zodiac, and lobsters as well, and unicorns, which is so fun. So if you're watching and you love unicorns, then that's a heavy and strong moon influence, and I would love to hear from you. So this week I am going to decide for sure if this is going to be the setup and to stick with whatever I decide by the end of the week. So next week, I guess we'll find out how that goes. And I will create, I don't know yet. I'm not sure what I will create this week. Definitely a moment of respite. I feel like a lot of the things that I do for fun are also work because they're like astrology or moon related. And so I'm kind of on research mode, if you will. But if I really wanted to just have fun and not do anything, then maybe coloring, or honestly not even reading a book, because all of the books here are kind of coaching content or moon related, right? And so we'll see. A moment of respite. That sounds like something good to create. And then every moon day on the agenda, you get an original affirmation, meaning I wrote it, and it has to do with the moon that's at play. And today we're starting the week with a waxing crescent. So the moon is gaining in light. We just had that nice little new moon in Cancer on Friday. And how was that for you? See, when it's a full moon in Cancer, I feel like emotions are more present. When it's a new moon, which means, it's obscure, there's no light, that you don't see the moon, which, doesn't mean it's not there, but still, it's a bit more like winter. The plants go within themselves and they look dead, but they're not, right? And nature is really still and quiet. And a new moon in Cancer is within. So I wonder what is going to start clicking for you that may have been prompted during the new moon in Cancer emotionally, or in the home front for you. And then now that the moon is gaining in light with this waxing crescent, what are the loose ends that you may be kind of figuring out now? Because as the moon gains in light, so do you. So you get that insight or that moment of that aha moment, right? And the moon in Leo today, I'm going to go back to the new moon in Cancer because I'm going to touch on the questions and the affirmation for that. But the moon in Leo today is, it's that self-expression, it's that innate desire to speak up or to speak now about what I stand for, what I believe in, what has been bothering me. Today is the day that I feel strong enough or prepared to discuss it, maybe. Leo wants that spotlight. And we want to be, not we, but Leo wants to be accepted, of course, because Leo is that leader. So feeling like you want to take the lead on something may also come up while the moon is in Leo. And if you have a natal Leo moon, I would love to hear from you in the comments, even on the replay, because tell me how it comes up for you when the moon is in Leo. So my natal moon is in Cancer, and when the moon is in Cancer, I feel pretty good, as opposed to other moons that tend to really trigger me in different ways, whether good or bad, right? They either glimmer me or they trigger me in some ways. But the moon in Cancer just makes me feel like I don't care what we do today. I'm comfortable. I feel comfortable in my own skin. I let go of any kind of resistance, if you will, because I feel like resistance is sometimes what causes friction in some interactions. And the deep-rooted reason why some frictions may come up is because there's resistance in one of the two parties. And so I feel like when the moon is in Cancer for me, I tend to flow a little better. There's that water element of the moon in a water sign, right? And the moon is at home in Cancer. So as a Cancer moon, I feel at home when the moon is in Cancer. Going back to my request, if you're watching and you're a natal Leo moon, how do you feel when the moon is in Leo? That would be awesome to know. Now, as I said before, every moon day you have an original affirmation that goes with the phase of the moon and with the moon. And so today is, I radiate. There's that fire sign, sun sign of Leo. I radiate warmth, confidence, and bold self-expression, illuminating my path with creativity and emotional strength. And there's that deeply Leo coded affirmation for you. And the reason why I like to bring these affirmations about is because if there's too much water in our chart or too much water in our present circumstances, meaning if you're depressed or currently in your feelings, or if you're struggling emotionally, there's a lot of water in the panorama, symbolically speaking, then the rest of the elements tend to complement. And so when you have too much of one sign, you can lean onto another sign to balance out that scale, to bring that harmony about. And so think of a scale, a musical scale. So every scale has 3 or 4 notes, and those 4 notes just harmonize together, right? And so imagine if you have just too much of just one and then only two more, you can't, right? It won't flow, it won't sound the same. And it's the same with these signs. And so if you have too much fire in your chart, then you might be someone who enjoys being spicy and sassy and who will take no shit and automatically not necessarily jump to conclusions, but not be afraid to stand up for what you believe in and for what you're proud of. There's that fire. I'm not saying that's all there is to it, because Leo is not the only fire sign, but these affirmations, I feel like, come in handy when I am lacking in confidence and when I don't feel like showing up in bold self expression. And I felt that this morning without even reading this, even though I wrote this. I wrote this last year, right? And so I don't know what the affirmation is until I have already had breakfast, my family's settled, I'm dressed for the day, and then I sit down to journal. And so I realized when I read this that when I was getting ready, I knew that the moon was in Leo because I'm already showered, hair done, makeup done, which I haven't done my makeup in weeks. And let me pick a cute outfit. And there's that self expression that Leo wants to lean on to get the attention. Absolutely. That's Leo for sure. No shame on that. I'm just talking about how the signs are. And so here we are. I radiate warmth, confidence, and bold self expression, illuminating my path with creativity and emotional strength. Now, let's go back before we continue to the rest of the week. Let's go back to the new moon in Cancer and talk about the journal prompts and the affirmation for that. Every new moon and full moon in the book, you have the opportunity to answer some journaling questions and to check out the affirmation that goes with the whole panorama of the astrology happening on this day. So the questions and the affirmation don't just look at the moon and the moon phase. I took a look at where the sun is, which is Cancer, and this new moon is in Cancer, so things are aligned, and where everything else was. So question number 1. How does the energy of nurturing, home, and emotions resonate with where I am emotionally and creating a safe, supportive space in my life? How does the energy of nurturing, home, and emotions resonate with where I am emotionally and where I am in creating a safe, supportive, and supportive space in my life? The second question is a mid-year review, which if you've never done it, just take a piece of paper and think about the last 6 months and see what comes up. Just write it all up. Just, what do I remember about January? Now, what do I remember about February? Maybe open your camera gallery and see what pictures may prompt some memories that you might want to journal about. And the point of journaling is not just to dump out the negativity. It's about finding clues and patterns and really discovering how you feel inside. Because if you're anything like me, I can't and only want to speak for myself. When I sit down to think of what's coming up for me, sometimes I write and write and write, and then I have to go back to read because I don't remember what I wrote. It's happening fast. I don't have a lot of time, so let's do this, right? And with these questions, it usually happens like that. And I like to paint over it to then do something else. So because it's a new moon, I'll be painting some flowers. Follow in social media to take a look at that. And the second question is a mid-year review. So how might I inspire a sense of optimism and growth in the coming months. So, how can I inspire a sense of optimism and growth in the coming months? And question number 3, how can I embrace my deepest emotions and nurture my intimate feelings during this lunar cycle? And the reason why I asked about the lunar cycle is because the new moon is the beginning of the lunar cycle. Even though the full moon gets all the attention, and if you don't follow astrology as a whole, like me, follow Jessica Lanyado and Chani Nicholas and other amazing astrologers out there, then you might not realize that the new moon is just, if not more important, than the full moon, even though the full moon gets all the attention. And the reason why the new moon carries so much importance and weight is because in the darkness, in that new moon, is where we plant seeds of intention. It's the time to really manifest, to think about your dreams, to ponder, where am I in life today and where do I want to be tomorrow? Meaning, what are the situations that are happening that are presently, that are currently in my life that need to be resolved by tomorrow in order to move forward, for example? At the same time that I'm thinking of the bigger picture and the bigger plan that we have and the bigger agenda. Because if you think about it, or if you're watching and you've been following this journey since last year or since 2022, because, right, this is season 3, then you know that some of the things that I'm journaling about today on my Moon Day page on July 8th of 2024 are things that I manifested or thought about or may have planted as intentions last year during new moons and during all this moon journaling, which is what I like about it. So there we are. And the thing about some of the things about this week is that Leo is hanging out in a harmonious aspect with Chiron, which is our wounds, our inner child. And there's an encouragement to also take care of ourselves in the process and to really consider our trauma and how we can nurture that trauma. Hi, Ron. Welcome. And in that same harmonious aspect, we have a non-harmonious aspect, just because there's a balance in everything and a duality to everything, to Mars in Taurus. And so Mars is the planet of action that kind of wants you to just get over it because we have things to do. And Taurus, the ruled by Venus, so it's also pretty sentimental and pretty slow in getting over things. Absolutely, Taurus does not want to get over things quick. In fact, we may hold grudges at times. And so you forgive, but you don't forget. And Mars wants to, like, I don't care, I just need it done, whatever it is that needs to be done. But Leo, in this harmonious aspect with Chiron, wants that inner child wounded self to be the priority, I feel like. And I hope you're following what I am saying, because I'm just making sense of the astrology as it, of course, follows the journey we've been discussing. And with this mid-year review of these 2 weeks between June and July, I feel like there's a lot of things that you may be rethinking or reassessing that may prompt you to need or feel like maybe you haven't come such a long way because there's just still things that need to be resolved, or there's things that are still pretty raw or too fresh or just too resentful. And so this week, with Mercury also entering or joining Leo, there's an opening for these values and things that you really believe in and that authentic self to come out. Now, Jupiter is also in Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Gemini is that self-expression that really shines through. Gemini governs over every single time that I break into song in the middle of a conversation. That's Gemini. And Jupiter, who loves to have a good time and who is the host of the party, right? And that good luck charm. Jupiter is hanging out in Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So the sense of community, there's that pride again, right? Because a community of lions is called a pride. And so the sense of community is highlighted this week. So, who are the people in your life? How are they involved or not? What is the extent of your relationships? How deep do they go? Or maybe it's a time to reassess those relationships as the moon gains in light. Then you might make sense of some of the doubts that have been crippling you in the last weeks. And so I wonder if that's what's happening. Tomorrow, the moon will be in Virgo, and Virgo likes things just so. So I hope that whatever healing is prompted this week, that you are compassionate with yourself about it. Hopefully you don't really harass yourself, right? I feel like sometimes we do more harm than none when we sit to say, oh my gosh, I need to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do this. And by the time you get down to the bottom of the list of all the things you need to do that are clear that need to get done, but maybe not all up to you, or maybe not all like today, right? Like that's what the strategy is about. Sometimes I feel like the whole list of I need to do these things does more harm than none, because it's just so stressful. Like I should be doing this. Well, you know what? I should be doing a lot of other things than sitting here having these amazing conversation with you. But absolutely, I'm going to make room 1 hour a week to have tea with the besties and discuss some moon magic and mindfulness, right? And it's these things that are also highlighted this week because Leo is that joy. It's not just that I am proud of this belief that I want to now bring to the table and highlight in my life. It's also that this special interest or this thing that I believe in or that I am proud of brings me infinite joy. And so this week, all of this is highlighted. And I think it's the perfect time, if you think about it, for these things to be coming up astrologically, because it's the summer and everybody's like, woohoo! And there's boat rides and just people hanging out and shark attacks and Eras tour and things, right? Life, people moving in, people moving out, right? And so those are some of the things that may be coming up. So how do you feel about a sense of adventure or lack thereof in your life? What kind of adventure are you being called into? That could be a job offer or a new position at work or a new type of recognition. Today is the day to do that. And it's actually beautiful because one of the besties in the Swifty chat today got awarded something at work. I don't remember, but I will look into it, Kylie. And congratulations to you on that. What a beautiful day to get recognized at work on a moon day with the moon in Lion. In Leo, in Lion. I'm just thinking about the fact that the lion is like, me, give me the award. So, yay. Wednesday, the moon will be in Virgo as well. So, pay close attention to perfectionism and the need to just be finicky about things as opposed to flowing. Especially if you have little ones at home like myself. I like to be mindful of his own abilities and mindful of what he knows and what he doesn't know, and then temper my expectations accordingly so that then I don't dive into some kind of discomfort or neurological activation within me because I am being that perfectionist or because I'm anxious about his behavior. I hope that makes sense. If you have kids that are neurodivergent, then you probably understood what I said. And then Thursday, Virgo with Venus, the moon in Virgo slash Libra, with Venus moving into Leo along with Mercury. So values and finances, and the sun is still in Cancer. So we're still guiding ourselves through this astrological panorama with the sun illuminating our emotional well-being through these changes and through these vibes and through these phases that we're going through. And Leo, even today, is opposite Pluto in Aquarius. So this Plutonian transformation about out with the old and in with the new, more so than ever. Jessica Laniato mentioned how quick the technological changes are going to go. I mean, I'm sorry, but when you look at some famous people's portraits or pictures in 2024 compared to their pictures 10-15 years ago, there's a huge difference. And I'm over here thinking, how could they change so much? Or is this something else? Or is this AI? Or what? And in all honesty, one of the reasons, and I don't want to lead with fear, so let me just lead with that. It's not that I am scared or that I am leading with fear, is that I like to be careful and to keep my things very close to heart and very close to home, including this, right? And once Pluto moved into Aquarius earlier this year, it's AI just took a turn that I don't think we saw coming, which is using people's voice to create new paragraphs, new spoken sentences, new content. And whoa, the some of the examples that I have already seen are pretty mind-boggling in my opinion. And so it's one of the reasons why, and you tell me if you've noticed this change, but it's one of the reasons why I've gone more quiet in my content, and I don't want to constantly be putting voiceovers out there on social media. And it's because all of a sudden I realized they can be switched and changed and misconstrued and manipulated, and that's just not fun. So this whole Pluto in Aquarius thing is pretty stressful. And then you get somebody like Jessica Laniato and then me telling you that this transformation is going to be faster than we think. In all honesty, it is kind of stressful, because up until very recently, I was thinking that Pluto's ingress into Aquarius, which right now it's retrograde in Capricorn, but it's going to go back to Aquarius. And the whole thing about Pluto and Aquarius is going to be like a 15-17 year cycle. And so I'm thinking about 15 or 17 years from now, and I'm like, well, we got time. We got time for all of these changes and for all of these collective changes to happen with this transformation. But they're already here. I mean, Tesla has this car that drives itself. Imagine waking up to a cop that has pulled over your car and you're asleep in the back seat and your car was driving you on its own. It's 2024, people. Like, what? This is what we're dealing with. So it's happening, and it's happening faster out there in the world than in here. And the question becomes, what can I do to bring myself a little closer? Because honestly, the idea of catching up to technology just seems completely just impossible, right? Because we're beings, we're flesh and blood, and we have things going on aside of what we're learning and updating our brain with, right? So yeah. Friday, we have a moon in Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. So I love that when the day of the moon aligns with the zodiac sign that is also ruled by the planetary that belongs to that day. So moon is for Moon Day, Mars is for Tuesday, Mercury rules Wednesday, Jupiter rules Thursday, Venus rules Friday, Venus Day. Saturday is ruled by Saturn, and the Sun rules Sunday. And so with a Libra moon on a Friday, it just opens up the environment for hanging out, going out to party, especially with Jupiter in Gemini. So be careful this week and take care of yourself. Do not be, don't drink and drive, get an Uber, and just be safe. And then Saturday, we have the first quarter moon with that Libra moon as well. It's going to be opposite Chiron. So again, how are our values aligned with this victim mentality of the Chiron wounded healer that is bringing up a wound so that you take care of it? And I feel like in my journey of healing and in my journey of thriving, going from survivor to thriving and being okay and not being in survival mode all the time. In this journey, what I've realized is that grief is an ongoing process. You don't get over it to then, oh, I'm not grieving anymore, in my personal opinion. When the moon is in Cancer, I might shed a tear again about things that I've already grieved and gotten over because Cancer wants me to express my emotions. When the moon is in Scorpio, all of those deep feelings that we tend to bottle up and just swallow down because we don't want to deal with, the moon in Scorpio might bring them up, especially if it's waxing crescent or if it's further than the first quarter moon or even a full moon. So I hope that this weekend is not emotional for you. Mars is still in Taurus, so try not to get into any fights and just be safe. And again, by Sunday, we have the moon in Scorpio. So sun in Cancer illuminating our emotional self, and sun in Cancer illuminating all that we really just think that we want or need to be happy, that inner child, that heart that says, I just want to be loved, right? Is going to be face to face with a moon in Scorpio, scraping the bottom of our feelings and bringing up the worst of the worst so that you can deal with it. So all in all, it is a positive week in terms of that Jupiter and Gemini hanging out and bringing luck to all group interactions and making time with family fun and just summer coded, if you will. And Mercury entering Leo along with Venus is also pretty positive. Now, I feel like the only thing missing would be a moon in Sagittarius, but as you know, it's a cycle, so we don't have a moon in Sagittarius this week. Now, let's get to our meditation, if you will. And Ron, if you're still here, how was your weekend? How was your week from last week? And everybody, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for your kindness always and patience. Thank you, Emma, for your review on my poetry book. I'm so grateful. You were so kind. First of all, thank you for buying the book. And thank you for leaving a review. I appreciate that so much. So let's meditate, y'all. We have Brain FM. You can find a free trial or a discount subscription in the link in the description or in the link in the bio. We're going to go to unguided meditation, and we have our chimes and bowls, and just relax if you're able. Close your eyes. If you're driving, do not close your eyes. And just Settle your breath, nice and slow. Settle into this moment and follow my lead as I guide you through some affirmations. Deeply breathe in through your nose. Nice and slow, deep breath in. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale through your mouth. Long exhale. Slow exhale. Hold it at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. And inhale once more through your nose. Long, deep inhale. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale nice and slow. And as you exhale, settle into this moment. Settle into the weight of a relaxed body. And ponder these affirmations. I am grateful for a detailed review of the past. And I look forward with optimism, nurturing my emotional needs, and fostering a supportive environment in the coming months. I embrace and honor my deepest emotions. I nurture my well-being and sense of security. I radiate warmth, confidence, and bold self-expression, illuminating my path with creativity and emotional strength. I am loved. I am guided. I am protected. With me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep breath in, fill your lungs, hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale nice and long. Exhale through your mouth. And as you relax into this exhale, inhale once more through your nose. Deep, long, deep breath. Fill your lungs till you have no room. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale nice and long. Slow exhale through your mouth. And when you're out of air, hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And relax. And as you relax, bring your awareness to your body. Wiggle your toes and open your arms. And come back to me. Yay! Ron says, you're so passionate and knowledgeable. Oh my gosh, Ron, I hope that all made sense. Like, does that make sense? Because in all honesty, I look at the astrology of the day astroseek.com. You all know that's my go-to source. You can find it for yourself. It is free. And you not only get like where the moon is every day, which is, this is the source, the main source that I use for my book. And then I read about all the signs and what they mean and what all the symbolism, I guess we should say. But anyway, this also gives me the daily chart. And so when I look at the week ahead, in order for us to talk about it, all I write in the agenda is, Jupiter opposite Virgo or Venus into Leo on this day. I don't write anything else. And so a lot of it is definitely all credit to spirit, right? Like it just comes through. And no doubt, I'm not saying that my research and my time studying this doesn't come through in what I say, but when I study Leo on its own, it's not necessarily the moon in Leo, right? Or Leo with Venus in it. All of that is a lot of the time pretty spur of the moment. And so I also make mistakes. What about trauma? What do you mean trauma? Like what about trauma? You tell me. You mean, how does trauma show up in your chart? Or just, I don't know, what do you mean about trauma? So I'm going to give you a second to respond before we close out. But we can always reconvene on the chat and we can talk about trauma. Trauma comes up in your natal moon, and where is Pluto in your chart, and where's your south node, and what's your parents' natal chart, right? Because trauma is our past and our lineage. What do you know about your ancestors? What do you know about your grandparents? Things like that. And this is without you telling me what about trauma. So we can definitely, going once, going twice. I'm checking the comments for Ron to say whatever about trauma, but if not, I will catch up with you, Ron. So everybody, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for your patience with all of this move, with content changing, and just, I don't think it's changing as much as it is evolving. Things happen in my life, and I don't necessarily want to stop creating content, and so I try to find a way to flow through my content as well. And in the end, I'm just at least I'm trying, right? And showing up. So that's great. Yay, kudos for me on this Leo moon. Tap tap on the back, right? Little kisses for myself. Thank you so much, Ron. And everybody, I will see you here next moon day. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or follow me on TikTok at somcoaching.tt for TikTok, and then on Instagram, songofmyself.ig, and you can always book a call on somecoaching.com. I will see you all next moon day. Bye.